Hello, traveler. This is Echoes of the Wise, Episode 5, a podcast that brings you wisdoms too profound not to share, and truths too deep not to be known. Today's episode is The Courage to Begin Again, and it is a message meant for travelers who have known defeat, sorrow, and the long road home. Welcome. I'm Jason Welch, the flame bearer from the realm of the Emberborn, where gnomes, elves, dwarves, and many wandering souls carry wisdom from campfire to castle, from crossroads to cavern hall. And I'm glad you're here. Today's wisdom is brought to you by none other than Philograt Skridelius, gnome of the deep, ascended great gold dragon king, whose truths were forged in peril, sorrow, and the unrelenting fire of destiny. Ah, weary travelers, as the fire dims and the night deepens, draw close to the flame, warm your hands and rest your burdens in the dust beside you. Mark the path, hit that like button, sit with us at the fire, subscribe, and if you'd be so bold, carry this torch, share this episode, so others may also find their way. Ready? Let us begin. Long after the final battle was won, long after the roar of war trumpets faded and the ashes cooled, I learned a truth no victory feast ever bothers to tell. The hardest thing you'll ever do is begin again after the world has come undone. See, we are taught foolishly that strength means never failing, never falling, never breaking. But life, if lived long enough, proves the opposite. Strength is not the absence of collapse. Strength is how you rise after everything inside you has crumbled. Personally, I've fallen deeper than stone, deeper than the caverns I once called home. I have seen endings I did not choose, losses I did not believe I could survive. I have been broken, not in body alone, but in spirit, in hope, in memory. And yet, here I sit, golden fire still alive in my chest. Why? Because somewhere in the rubble of despair, I chose to stand again, shaking, bleeding, uncertain, but standing. So tonight, let me tell you what I learned on the road back to myself. You see, there is a beauty in breaking. Among humans, there's an art form called kintsugi, repairing shattered pottery with gold, turning scars into glory. Now that's a lovely idea, one we gnomes practiced long before men walked upright. We called it Torun Himar, the blessing of the break. We believe every fracture is a doorway, a chance for something wiser, truer, and far more luminous to emerge. And your life is no different. When something breaks, a marriage, a dream, a season of purpose, you are not being ruined. You are being reshaped. You are not less valuable for the shattering, but more. For the cracks that once shamed you become the very lines where wisdom seeps through. Because life is an adventure on a road with no map. Now hear me, adventurers. Beginning again is not for the faint of heart. Starting over after betrayal, after failure, after burying someone you love, or after the quiet, suffocating disappointment of your own choices. These are trials heavier than any dragon's hoard. There is no map for such passages. No elder can truly chart it for you. Even the gods fall silent sometimes. Even the one true God's voice can be drowned out by sorrows. At least until you hear that whisper in your chest when your heart begins to beat again. That whisper that says, I am not finished. It may be a frail whisper. I am not finished. Barely audible. I am not finished. But that whisper is a seed. And seeds are stubborn things. Given the slightest a trace of light, they rise. And you gotta remember, you don't need the whole path. A mystic once wrote, in your lands, not mine, you do not need to know precisely what is happening or exactly where it is all going. What you need is to recognize the possibilities and the challenges of the present moment, and to remember them with courage, faith, and hope. These are wise words indeed, if only we heed them. We Emberborn teach something similar. Take only the next step. Do only the next right thing. The path will reveal itself when you honor the one beneath your feet. And remember, beginnings rarely appear grand. Often they tremble. Often they weep. Often they smell faintly of fear and ash. Yet inside those fragile moments of uncertainty lies the power to rewrite a destiny. Once we accept that truth, we reach the turning point. Every saga, yours, mine, even those sung by minstrels in kingdoms long turned to dust, contains a moment right after devastation where the hero chooses, do I rise or do I remain among the ruins? It's rarely actually one of those dramatic moments, though the bards do embellish those parts. But the true turning, the real miracle, is quiet. A breath taken, a fist unclenched, a whisper of self-forgiveness. That is where the story changes. That is where you change. You say, I am not who I was, but I am still here, and I will begin again. Often we believe we need permission from others to begin again. It's not true. We only need to give ourselves permission, but just in case, let me give you this as plainly as I can. You are allowed to start over. Not because you failed, but because you grew beyond the life you once fit into. The simple truth is, old skins must be shed. Old chapters must close. Old versions of you must be honored and then released. You are not trapped. You are not ruined. You are simply between stories. And beginnings, they are rarely thunderous. Most arrive as a quiver in the soul, a whisper in the night. Rise. If you must whisper it again tomorrow, then whisper it again. Rise. If next week you falter, stand again and whisper it again. Rise. Beginnings are not one-time events. They are discipline of the spirit. Stand, right yourself, and say it like you mean it. Rise. A final word as the fire dies. Not if, but when you find yourself standing at the threshold of a new tomorrow, and you're about to step into a fresh chapter, hands trembling, heart tired, uncertain of what remains? Hear this from an old gnome who lived long enough to burn, shatter, resurrect, and ascend. You are not alone. Millions before you have held broken pieces in their hands and wondered if any good could come of it. And the wise discovered this simple truth. There is more life ahead. There is more strength within you. And there is immeasurable power in beginning again. I leave you now with these final thoughts for you to ponder. Grab your journal, write them down, and answer them truthfully. And as you lie in wait for sleep to take you this night, let your answers land deeply in your mind, in your heart, and in your psyche, so they might take root in your life. Ready? 1. Traveler, recall a fall that left you breathless. Not the stumble of the body, but the collapse of the heart or spirit. Write of what shattered that day, and dare to wonder what gold might fill those fractures now if you allowed healing instead of hiding. 2. What silent whisper inside you has refused to die? In the dark corridors of your life, there is always a seed, a small, stubborn spark saying, I am not finished. Describe where that whisper is calling you to rise again. 3. Where does your path fade, and why does that uncertainty frighten you? You need not see the whole trail, adventurer. Only the stone beneath your step. Write of the places in your life where you demand certainty, and what courage might emerge if you released that demand. 4. What version of yourself must be honored and then released? Every hero outgrows an old skin. Reflect on an old identity, a dream, or a season you've clung to after its time has passed. What would beginning again look like if you loosened your grip? 5. If tonight you chose to rise anew, what would be the first small act? Not a grand quest, not a heroic vow, just a simple ember of effort. One step worthy of the person you are becoming. Name that step, and clearly and honestly, and let it be your guiding star come dawn. This has been Echoes of the Wise, wisdoms too profound not to share, and truths too deep not to be known. Until next time, rise gently, brave traveler. The dawn is kinder than you think.